figuring out what the big problem is instead of trying to fix something that is the effect of it.
Absolutely.
Right? Because when the club is going 70, 90, 100 miles an hour, you have no idea where that club really is. The younger generation won't know this, right? We know this. That's the biggest key in golf.
Now, AK to me as first a competitor and then as a fan, I have to say, brother, and I told you this the other day when you came up to the range, there have been only in our generation, maybe a couple for me personally, Prime Tiger. You know, I look back to the older generations. I look at Bobby Jones. I look at, you know, not Bobby Jones necessarily, but I look at Sam Snead and especially Ben Hogan as swings where I looked at and I went, that's just, I could watch that all day. You happen to have one of my top 5 favorite swings I've ever seen in the history of golf. Let me ask you this. Compared to then, and we haven't even talked about these 11 years off in between, to now, what has changed about your swing? Do you still attack the same common goals? Are there some checkpoints that you've had consistently that make you click? And I'm just curious about what that was when you played.
Yeah.
And I know at one point you talked about how it got overwhelming. You had too many things going on in your mind at one point when back in the day.
Sure.
And I'm just curious, like what are the things that make AK click? What's your big swing goal every time?
I get a lot of these questions on Instagram. What am I working on? What can 10 handicap do? What can a college player that is playing D1 golf do? I've had some guys that have played on tour where they ask me what I'm working on and what they should work on. It all comes down to setup, all the fundamentals of the game. It has nothing to do with how you're supposed to swing the golf club. Whatever your body type is, the club is going to work around you if you start with a good setup and make good turns. So you're right, I did overcomplicate it when I first got back because I was so far behind, having not touched a club in so long, that I didn't know what to work on. But I owe all the credit to Adam Schreiber. He, not only is he one of the best golf minds ever, he's one of the best human beings I've ever met. He's still very close. He spent so much time with me working on stuff before it was the cool thing to do. All the things that kids are doing now, he was doing when I was 15, 16
Absolutely.
years old.
I remember it.
That. Now fast forward, 12 years that I was off, I wanted to get my setup right, and it was actually the worst it could be because my feet were right, my shoulders were left. And I know it doesn't have to be perfect, but for me, I'd never played golf that way. My feet were always left of the target, and I could move my shoulders however I wanted. If I wanted to hit a bigger cut, it would be more left of my feet. If I wanted to hit a draw, I would just put my right shoulder back. But I've started working with Matt Killen about a year ago, and we got our setup dialed, right? So from that position, I don't have to do much. From that position, I know what to do, which is turn my left shoulder behind the ball.
Boom.
I don't work on where my hands are, where my shoulder plane is, all the shit that people are talking about.
Yep.
Because when the club is going 70, 90, 100 miles an hour, you have no idea where that club really is. Sure, you can guess where it is, but that's where the brain takes over in golf. The good thing about me not being as smart as some of these other guys is that I don't think about the golf swing that much. I just think if I get my left shoulder behind this ball, the only way I'm going to make solid contact is if my right shoulder goes past the ball.
Boom.
And then stick your finish, right? So that's it.
What about your only swing thought you ever said when you were a junior? Going back from you guys learning with Adam.
After my setup, all I ever did was get my left shoulder behind the ball under my chin and back over what felt like to me just pointed back there. Complete my turn. My dad and I used to sit like this. We used to throw medicine balls all day.
Yeah.
And anybody who watches my swing, they go, dude, you're not even a big guy. And you know what's crazy? You have this little compact swing. Well, we both make a very big turn. Our arms don't swing very extra relative to our turn. They just follow our turn.
Right.
And I love that. I've never thought about where they go when I play it. I just thought about turning. I was actually going to ask you, if you could walk us through what your process is. I know it's unconscious to you almost at this point in your career, but when you get in there, you're very, very much in tune with where that club is set, how you take your grip. It's very noticeable. So,
yeah. Well, I think that's what Matt and I have worked on the most, right? Matt's great at figuring out what the big problem is instead of trying to fix something that is the effect of it.
Absolutely.
Right? So we went all the way back to how I'm gripping the club. I had the grip so weak that when I took the club back, it would immediately suck under, right? And then my misses were behind the ball and wipey.
As a result of the grip.
As a result of the fundamentals of the game. When I get up here, the first thing I do is aim the club. I wasn't aiming the club properly the first year I was on Live. Now I'm aiming the club, getting my grip in the right position, and I'm making sure my feet are left. No matter what, my feet are left. So once my feet get left, I get in an athletic position where my feet feel 50-50. Tilt. Look at the target.
Gosh, that's good. It's neat to hear you talk about this AK, and it's cool because we had a lot of the same messages being preached to us at a young age. But the reality is, Nicklaus always said it, the three most important parts of the golf swing: setup, setup, and setup. You look at Hogan saying 90% of it's already done once you set up. I think it's hard for the average golfer to understand that until they really do see what the benefits are of when they finally master their setup. Sure. And this is a big lesson, if you're looking to utilize this, not to just get a little insight on AK and what he's doing, but to actually improve based upon this. The first place you look if you're trying to improve your golf game is your setup. The grip is the connecting point to you and the golf club. And one thing he said that I think is incredibly important regarding aim: club down first and then set up. I think the same thing is true in putting. It's very hard to set your feet because once you're setting your feet, you're locked in, and oftentimes the club face is wrong. Yeah, it's great. And hey, for our viewer, AK, it's always been a cut, right? Always been a cut.
Always been a cut. I used to be a short, fat little kid when I was 10, 11 years old, and I could never hit it as far as other guys. So I hit this 40-yard sweeping hook just to try to get 15 more. And I got to Adam, and we're going to get you hitting a cut. We're going to take one side of the golf course out. And it's great to work the ball both ways, but to have a safety shot where I can aim this down the left rough and cut it, or even slice it however far you want, and get the ball in play. That's the biggest key in golf. Take one side of the golf course out and know that I can aim in this spot, it will never go there.
Some people know this feeling who are watching, others won't, but let me tell you, it's a great feeling, and I know AK will agree with me, when you could be on the 72nd hole at TPC Sawgrass, actually aim at the railroad ties, and know it's not going to go in the water.
Yeah, I mean, I've hit 3 in the water there before, but, that was when I started overthinking it.
Yeah, there you go.
Who cares what I shot?
What are your thoughts about your practice? What do you do? What's specific to you about your practice that has made you successful over the years?
There's nothing you can do besides hit a lot of golf balls to get better, especially juniors. What I think is important is to start changing the way you practice as you get closer to tournaments. And I think that's what Matt has reinforced with me, is when you're working on something, sure, scoop a ball, hit it. But at 40 years old, I can't hit as many balls. So what I like to do is maybe 2 weeks before the tournament, start taking more time on each shot. Not worrying about the exact technique, but seeing the shot. Trying to get back so quickly, I forgot about how important that was, seeing the golf shot before I hit the shot. And so right now, I have a month before the tournament, so I'm working on technique. But in 2 weeks, I'll start working on pre-shot routines. So it'll change as it goes.
More of a game time feel.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Can you run us through a pre-shot routine?
Yeah, run us through it for you. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like to take practice swings. So if I was in a tournament, I would get behind the ball, obviously have the number. That's basically it. And then quickly get into the ball, you know, set my club, feet, one look at the target.
Now, are you a, beautiful dude, are you a spot guy or are you simply ball to target guy?
I am a ball to target.
Yeah.
I know I'm trying to get better, so I'm watching some videos of, you know, Tiger and Phil and Faldo and some of these guys that were really good ball strikers.
Thought it was great.
As far as what they do, and it was a spot thing. But for me, I can't get to it.
Do you see it better looking up out there?
Yeah, I do.
You
I
do.
pick a target, generally left, of if I'm trying to hit at that green flag,
Okay.
I'm trying to look left of that flag, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just left of the white flag is where I'm trying to point the
So you're
face.
keying in on starting lines right there.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if there's something out there, right, there's a water cooler
Yes.
out there left of that umbrella, that's where I'm looking. I'm not even looking at the flag because I know the ball's going to curve to that area.
That prevents the subconscious too from blocking it out towards the flag as well.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You set the club, and a lot of people look at their target, and their body subconsciously moves to that side.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Question for you that I think is probably one of the number one questions on the mind of everybody out there who's an AK fan. What about the choking down on the club?
Yeah, always been a thing.
Yeah.
Always been a thing.
The younger generation won't know this, right? We know this. But when I started playing golf, my dad cut down a persimmon head with a steel shaft
There we go.
with a Golf Pride grip. And it was so heavy, I was dragging it on the course. And again, I wasn't a big guy, so I used to have to find a way to make good contact with the ball. And Korean parents could be a little tough. So you want to hit that ball in the middle of the face. So the only way I could do it was by choking up. And when I got to Adam, he asked me why I'm choking up and to grip to the end of the club. But for me, gaining 10, 15 yards off the tee wasn't worth the 3 holes of stress I would have when I'm chipping sideways, especially on PGA Tour golf courses. I don't know what they're like now, but the rough used to be so thick that you really couldn't advance the ball. The technology wasn't what it is today. So I cared more about hitting fairways than hitting it far. And I hit it plenty far, right? Like if you make a good turn, you hit it, anybody can hit it plenty far.
Isn't it amazing? We grew up in that era, by the way. What do you know about me? Find fairways all the time. You know, you just find fairways, don't 3-putt, get up and down, make short putts, and that was your game.
When I went to the first live event, right? Everyone had a TrackMan. I still don't have a TrackMan.
I love that.
And people may say, well, you're not really trying, right? And I try on my social media to answer most of the questions. I can't get to all of them, but I try to answer most of them. And a lot of the people have messaged me and said, why are you not using that? Well, I could tell you that I wasn't hitting it solid enough for that to matter. When you don't hit it consistently in the face, I don't care if it says I hit it 165 and then the next one goes 178, right? Because that's not tracking what I'm trying to do. I'm at the point now where it matters, right? So I'm starting to use those devices more, but technology has changed the game. Now you hit it as far as you can. The ball spins plenty out of the rough. It seems like the rough is a little shorter unless it's a major championship. And it's changed the game where precision isn't as important. I used to be able to work the ball both ways pretty consistently, even though 90% of the time it was a cut. Now the ball doesn't curve as much, so you have to do double as far as technique to get the ball to curve.
That's a good point. You're right about that.
And so I'd rather not mess with that stuff. I'd rather just keep hitting my cut. Even if there's a ton of trouble on the left, I'm going to aim there. And if it goes in the water, it goes in the water.
Here we are at the beautiful Fairmont Grand Del Mar and the Grand Golf Club, the home of Porzak Golf, where golf is not just considered a sport, it's a lifestyle. The Porzak Golf membership will take you on an immersive journey that blends performance, lifestyle, and the spirit of the game like never before. This membership is geared towards helping you play the best golf of your life and enjoy the greatest game ever played. For more information on what your membership includes, click the link below.